Hello, everyone, to the Moon Report. My name is Marlene. I am the modern mystic and your resident moon goddess, bringing you the full moon report in Virgo. I'm so excited, as always, to share space with you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for supporting. And thank you if you're watching later and catching up. This is a powerful full moon. And the reason that it's powerful is not so much the full moon itself and what the full moon is saying, but it's more what the full moon is illuminating in other aspects. And we're going to talk about all of these today. So I'm going to go over some like complex information, and I'm going to try to explain as much as I can, remembering that there's always animas, new animas that are coming into the collective and maybe beginners in astrology. So I am reminded that some of us don't know exactly what aspects I'm talking about and what exactly that means. So I'm going to try to do my best to explain everything. But if you have any questions, always leave it in the comment section in Mighty Networks. Tag me on it, and I will definitely come on there and try to explain anything, really, any questions that you may have about planets and stars and what different aspects means when I talk about squares and conjunction. I might not always remember to explain those, but I'm definitely available to answer any questions that you may have. So with that being said, let's get started in this full moon in Virgo that is happening on 16 degrees, okay? And it was exact yesterday at 7:40 a.m. And it was really strong for me. I started feeling this full moon a few days before it actually got here. And things started to get real confusing and real all over the place. And it began to feel more like a Piscean full moon than a Virgo full moon. And there is a lot of Pisces energy that I'm going to go over in just a second. But this full moon may have brought up emotions that were blocked, maybe, or underlying. And these emotions may have come up in different ways, maybe not so graceful, maybe, depending on what house this full moon is happening in for you and in your natal chart, which is your personal map of your astrology. It may aspect itself in many ways. It may have come up, but it was definitely something that may have been hidden from you and that you didn't quite expect. Or maybe that hasn't happened yet, as we are still in full moon energy, and that still can come up for you. So what I do want to share with you is that the message of this full moon, and one of its loudest messages, is boundaries and discernment, and learning to navigate changes with discernment, and understanding that we have to meet ourselves in the middle of our realities and our delusions, and what we think is going on and what is actually going on. And there's a lot of that with this full moon, where everything that you see may not be exactly what it is. So I'm going to give you some information as to what aspect that is and what are the dates that you should watch for when that energy is the heaviest and when we can fall into some deceptive energy. So let's get started with the overload of energy that is happening in Pisces. We have the sun in Pisces. We have Neptune, its ruling planet, in Pisces. We have Mercury in Pisces. And we have Saturn that is about to enter into Pisces. And it was at 29 degrees at the time of the full moon. So I'm going to open up here. Let me share the screen with you. I always mess this up, so hopefully I did it right. Oh, look at me. Ooh, okay. Okay. So everyone can see that, yes? Okay. So we are looking at the full moon here, 16 degrees, Virgo, opposing the sun, 16 degrees, Pisces. And here is the overload of that Piscean energy. And that's why we may be feeling like, we may be getting lost in the details, especially with Mercury. Mercury is at its fall in Pisces. And what that means, it is not at its strongest. It doesn't like to be there. Mercury feels not sharp, has lack of clarity, is super cloudy, and is more acting in an imaginative way, in an intuitive way, in a dreamy way, which is not very mercurial and not very analytical and not all the things that Mercury likes to be. So this aspect here with Mercury is really, really bringing in some, maybe annoying kind of energy, especially when we're talking about Neptune, also here in a square with, where is Mars here? I have to move things around. Here we go, in Gemini. So this square with Neptune and Mars is really bringing this kind of hard aspect to the energy right now. And the thing is that these two planets have been in this hard square since October of last year. So this is about their third dance and final dance. So when they do this last dance, this is the energy where, some of us, depending on where it again hits our natal chart, we may find situations that might be annoying, emotions that might have us perceive that and we're in some kind of nightmare, some kind of self nightmare, deceptive energy, hysterical energy, unpure energies towards you or people around you or from you. So this gets wonky here with Neptune square Mars in Gemini. And, we just need to be mindful around March 12th through the 18th. That is when the energy is going to be exact, and it may feel like we may be closing some cycles, but it's really about being mindful of how we're acting throughout those dates, so that whatever it is we're closing or whatever it is we're breaking free of or whatever it is that gets weird around us, we can then deal with it after the 18th, where things are less cloudy. You are not, that susceptible to rash decisions, rash thoughts. So March 12th through the 18th, again, this may be the ending of this kind of emotion or behavior. And again, it could come with the energy of like everything may not look like it seems. You may have thought something, and then all of a sudden the illumination of the moon allows you to see something different. Okay. So watch for that energy and just know you're not going to be clear, and just surrender into that space so that you could then move forward when the time is right. There is no rush to move forward. There isn't anything that you have to be doing. So I want you to work on that pressure or eliminating that pressure if you do feel it. Okay, so let's see here. What do I want to talk about next? Oh, yes, Saturn. Saturn is a big player here coming into Pisces. This is a huge shift, huge shift. Saturn moving away from Aquarius and coming into Pisces, which it'll be there until 2026. Okay. So this is, I don't know, I'm kind of excited for this energy. I don't know how some may be feeling about it. Not necessarily is it going to be easy peasy kind of energy, but I'm really liking the opportunity to be able to ground Piscean themes in my life when it comes to my dreams and my imagination and the things that I believe are possible without barriers and boundaries, like the shit I dream and dream big about. So I'm really excited at the opportunity to be able to apply Saturn to those things, which means, maturing in them, bringing order and structure to them so that they have a good chance of actually grounding and manifesting on this planet. Having the big lessons that I need to know around, whatever it is I'm, for example, Pisces is in the fourth house of home and family and chosen family for me. And, my child self and things that may have happened to me in childhood. So this is not necessarily like Saturn in the fourth house is not necessarily like, oh my God, all this fun energy that I'm going to go through. But what it is giving me an opportunity to finally deal with those things and finally get them out of the way so that they don't impede my success. So I don't need to carry them around if I so choose not to. So I can finally leave behind the things that hold me at different ages in my life and don't allow me to be my full adult self. And if you can look at Saturn in this way, as that big lesson, as the taskmaster coming through, showing you that fatherly lesson, when we're done with that transit, it could pay big. Everything that happens with Saturn is rewarding, and collectively we have this opportunity in different areas in our lives. So think about those themes, and think about Piscean themes, which are altered states and again dreams and art and music and our connection to the divine and how we flow. And all those beautiful things can materialize. So during these, 2 and some years that we're going to have this transit happening, I would really focus, which is what I'm going to do, on spiritual practices and actually grounding in your spiritual practices, meaning bringing structure to these things in your life, bringing structure to your dreams, allowing yourself to dream without boundaries. With the knowing that you are co-creating with the divine. And that co-creation is going to be what it's going to be, but you're there for it. You're there for it, and so is Saturn. So it's not bad backup to have. I'm kind of really excited about it. And this is the time to ground magic into your life. This is the time to really believe in magic in your life. Now, your girl can't leave you with just the light aspect of everything. I got to discuss the shadowy aspects of Pisces too. And that is, getting really serious around your addictions, your illusions, your delusions, how you may manipulate or deceive others or allow others to do that to you. Pisces rules incarceration. Pisces rules psychic wards. So it can get really weird with Pisces. So I want you to watch your mental health. And remember that there's always a thin line between genius and crazy. And as close as you get to your genius, the more self-care that needs to happen in your life. The harder you work on the things that you love, the more love you need to give yourself so that this body can hold you. You know, and with Saturn and Pisces, we're going to get an opportunity to practice that grounding in that astral space. It's pretty exciting stuff. And I am, for one, really excited about what we're going to bring out of this time. I'm like, wow, we're going to create some crazy shit. Like, this is going to be awesome. There's going to be some psychedelic times, okay? Because we are bringing things from that space, from those dimensions. I need you to believe that you are a channel for something creatively amazing. And it doesn't matter what that is. But whatever it is that wants to be born through you, this is the time to really work on believing that that's possible. And lastly, I want to talk about the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction. And this is over here, Jupiter and Chiron. They're almost at the end of their conjunction. And they're in Aries. And a lot of us of my age, I'm 47, and I don't remember exactly the time span, but a lot of us have Chiron in Aries if you're around my age, and Jupiter, you know, and especially within the months of like the summertime. So this is an important aspect to mention before we finalize the report, because this is something that we've been feeling, and Chiron is the wounded healer, and it's our rawest wounds, and Jupiter is the expander, the guru, love. So this conjunction is bringing love to these very raw, buried emotions, blind spots, and wounds that we have that have been coming up, unlocking, I guess I could say, into our awareness. And if you have been going through some of that, you know, just know that that is there to heal you. That is a healing that has been happening for a little bit right now. And some of us that do have a return during this time, during like 75, you were born in 75, definitely. I just want you to be prepared to nurture yourself through anything that emotionally comes up. Sit with it as much as you can. Ask others to sit with you in whatever that is. And if it hasn't come up already, just know that it's something that is going to expand you, expand your heart, expand your capacity to love yourself and others more. And it is a beautiful transit that sometimes looks a little chaotic and not so fun. So if you have been feeling all of this stuff and you've been like, okay, when am I going to get it together? We're almost there. The fire of Aries that's coming in the spring is going to help kickstart some of those things. But, you know, there's a lot of energy in Aries right now, and, you know, we're not quite there yet. We are not quite there yet. So believe in yourselves, lean into the collective. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. If you don't see clearly, that is fine. Everything is going to move forward. Set your intentions. Use this time to dream it all up. without boundaries, without circumstance, without details. We'll get lost in the details right now. The details are for later. Use this time to learn how to dream. Rest. Rest, because the fires of Aries are coming and the fires of spring are coming, and you want to be ready. You want to be ready to have the energy and the vitality to move forward when the time is right. So big love, big hugs. Enjoy the light of this full moon as much as you can. Do any kind of releasing rituals around or ceremonies around this full moon. This is a good time to, and if you can before the 12th, release any kind of energy that you're done with, that you're just over, that it might be hysterical, or it might be like something that you just don't want to deal with anymore. It's maybe just setting a plan forward to take care of that after the 18th of March. Great time for that too. And then we'll come into the spring equinox, and we're shifting into seasons. So use this time to release and to dream, and release and dream, and release and dream. You're ending a cycle. You're literally ending a cycle. We're in Pisces. Saturn is moving into Pisces. Like, there's so many endings. Oh, a great time to cull and to like clean through closets, get rid of stuff that you don't need. All that shifting of energy is so good. And those things can be rituals and ceremonies too. Just because you're doing like regular 3D mundane stuff doesn't mean that you set an intention and that becomes a ritual in your life. Because that energy that you're removing physically from your home or from your car or from your office is also space that you're making within yourself, within your mind, your heart, your body. Okay? So much love. See you in the new moon. Bye, everybody.